Namakura Gatana, a classic piece of animation history or a monumental disappointment dressed up as nostalgia. Let's slice through the surface and reveal the truth beneath. Namakura Gatana, translated as the dull sword, is held aloft by many as a significant milestone in Japanese animation. Created in 1917, it stands as one of the oldest surviving pieces of this art form. Its historical significance is undeniable, seen as a relic from a bygone era, long before the birth of modern anime. But is that all there is to it? The initial allure of Namakura Gatana is easily understood. The sheer antiquity of the piece, its status as a pioneer in Japanese animation, draws us in, piquing our curiosity. We approach it with a sense of reverence, ready to immerse ourselves in this historical artifact. However, as we journey through its simplistic storyline, we begin to see the cracks beneath the veneer of nostalgia. The narrative, such as it is, revolves around a samurai who purchases a dull sword, realizing too late its ineffectiveness. The plot, in its bare-bones simplicity, lacks the depth and complexity we've come to expect from anime. Furthermore, Namakura Gatana suffers from an acute lack of character development. Our protagonist, the unnamed samurai, remains a static figure throughout the short film. We see no growth, no evolution, no change. He begins as a fool and ends as one, with no lessons learned, no insights gained. Now, you might argue that it's unfair to judge a short film from 1917 by today's standards. After all, how deep can it be? But even for its time, Namakura Gatana falls short. It offers us little more than a fleeting glimpse into the past. A curiosity, rather than a compelling narrative. But hey, maybe you're thinking it's just a short film from 1917, how deep can it be? Let's dive deeper into its flaws. Stay tuned as we continue to peel back the layers of Namakura Gatana's deceptive allure. Let's dissect the many ways Namakura Gatana fails to meet even the most basic standards of storytelling. First off, there's the glaring issue of minimal dialogue. Our characters, who are supposed to be the heart and soul of any story, are left with little to no means of expressing their thoughts and feelings. We're left guessing at their motivations, their desires, their fears. This lack of dialogue leaves us with a shallow, unfulfilling narrative that's about as compelling as watching paint dry. Next, we have the anime's over-reliance on slapstick humor. Now, don't get me wrong, a little slapstick can be a delightful addition to any story when done right, but when it becomes the primary mode of storytelling, as it is in Namakura Gatana, it comes across as lazy and uninspired. It's as if the creators took the easy way out, opting for cheap laughs over meaningful character development and plot progression. And then there's the animation. While we must of course consider the time period in which it was created, it's hard to ignore the fact that later anime have far surpassed Namakura Gatana in terms of visual appeal and technical prowess. The animation in Namakura Gatana is, to put it plainly, unimpressive. The movement is stiff, the characters are crudely drawn, and the overall visual effect is underwhelming. We can't forget that storytelling is an art, and like any art, it requires skill, creativity, and a genuine desire to evoke emotion in the audience. Namakura Gatana, however, falls short on all fronts. It's a prime example of how not to tell a story, and serves as a cautionary tale for future creators. So yes, Namakura Gatana was made in 1917, and we could perhaps forgive some of its shortcomings due to the limitations of the time. But some is the operative word here. There are flaws here that go beyond the realm of technological constraints and venture into the territory of poor storytelling. Sure, it was made in 1917, but that doesn't excuse its glaring flaws. Before we continue shredding Namakura Gatana, let's take a moment to appreciate the wonders of Chungus VPN. In the digital age where privacy seems like a mythical unicorn, Chungus VPN steps onto the battlefield, armed to the teeth, ready to champion your online security. You see, the internet is a lot like the world of anime. It's vast, colorful, and full of unexpected twists, but just like how Namakura Gatana disappoints with its plot holes, the internet can be a treacherous place where your data is constantly under threat. That's where Chungus VPN comes in. Picture this. You're strolling through the virtual landscape, leaving digital footprints behind. Without protection, these footprints can be traced back to you by anyone with the right tools. Chungus VPN, however, is like a cloak of invisibility. It hides your footprints, making your online journey private and secure. You might ask, why do I need to hide my footprints? Well, imagine if someone knew every anime you've ever watched, every meme you've ever chuckled at, every forum you've ever visited. Your online activities paint a picture of who you are, and in the wrong hands, this picture can be exploited. Chungus VPN ensures that your online persona remains your own, not a plaything for data thieves, but that's not all. Chungus VPN is also your ticket to a world without boundaries. You know how frustrating it can be when you're all set to binge the latest anime, only to find it's not available in your region. With Chungus VPN, geographical restrictions are a thing of the past. It's like having a teleportation jutsu. You can virtually travel to any corner of the internet, accessing content that was once beyond your grasp. Chungus VPN is easy to use too. It's as simple as flipping a switch. One moment you're in your hometown, the next you're halfway across the world, ready to dive into that elusive anime that everyone's been raving about. And the best part? Chungus VPN doesn't slow down your internet speed. It's like having your cake and eating it too. On top of all this, Chungus VPN offers round-the-clock customer support. If you hit a snag, their team of experts is ready to swoop in and save the day. Just like your favorite anime hero. So if you value your online privacy, if you want to freely roam the vast expanse of the internet, if you want to be the master of your digital universe, then Chungus VPN is your ally. Remember, in the world of the internet, it's better to be safe than sorry, just like how it's better to watch a good anime than waste your time on Namakura Gatana. Now back to our scheduled rant. If you've stuck with me this far, you're either a masochist or you genuinely enjoy listening to me tear apart Namakura Gatana. Now let's wrap this up with a final critique. We've dissected the numerous shortcomings of this anime, and it's time to bring them all together. Namakura Gatana may have its place in the annals of anime history, but let's be real here. Having historical significance doesn't magically absolve it of its glaring deficiencies. Firstly, the storytelling. It's as lackluster as a damp squib. The plot is as shallow as a puddle, with no depth or complexity to engage the viewer. The characters are as one-dimensional as a line drawn on a piece of paper. They're like cardboard cutouts with no real personality or development throughout the series. Then there's the animation. It's as rudimentary as it gets. Yes, we understand it's an old anime, but that's no excuse for the lack of creativity and innovation. There are older animes out there that have pushed the boundaries of what was possible with their animation. Namakura Gatana, on the other hand, seems to have been content with settling for mediocrity. Let's not forget about the pacing. It's either too slow, causing the viewer's interest to wane, or it's too fast, making it hard to follow what's going on. It's like the anime can't decide whether it wants to be a slow-burning drama or a fast-paced action series. Overall, Namakura Gatana is a letdown. It's a disappointment not just for the viewers who were expecting something more, but also for the anime industry as a whole. It had the potential to be so much more, but it squandered it with its lackluster storytelling, subpar animation, and inconsistent pacing. But don't just take my word for it. I encourage you to share your own thoughts on Namakura Gatana in the comments.